history of it. You said it did or didn't flood before until they
It
just.
did not flood before.
But
it-
yet. they were
not
gonna
as
put a
much.
drainage
It
in?
flooded-
I'm confused. Why
Sir,
what was the
it
drainage
flooded, but
gonna be
not as
for?
bad. Now there's no place for the water that goes onto my property from Nickel Street. And it's also coming now from my other neighbors,
So,
all the water.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you correct.
I'm on 105 East
I
Main Street.
know, I understand that, but you're saying it did or did not flood before?
Not as bad.
But it did flood?
It didn't flood originally when I moved in because it used to flow.
Mhm.
Then we had one neighbor that filled in his there. And then we all kind of arranged to make that make it happen. It still wasn't as good as it was originally. But then my neighbor in 107 had a problem because she was starting to develop a pond after Aura Chemicals built his second building. When he built his first building, we had some more drainage problems. Then when he built his second building, forget about it. It was very bad.
Who was the neighbor that you said raised their land?
They all raised their land, but I'm 107. It's about 5 feet higher than what it was.
So they all took it upon themselves to raise the land?
Well, no, Aura Chemicals, from what I was told, the mayor
I'm talking
approved
about
it.
history, I'm not talking about now, currently. Back you said it started to flood until one neighbor, or it wasn't
One neighbor
flooding
that was
until-
3 houses down.
So he raised his land on his own?
He just put in a pipe that didn't even work.
2 houses.
Not 2 neighbors, one that I know of.
2 houses. The blue house.
2 houses or 3 houses, I don't know.
Okay. So the water coming in off of Nicole Street, that's flooding your
But
property.
that's a moot issue at this
Okay.
point.
Has nothing to do with Oral Chemical.
Excuse me?
That has nothing to do with Oral
What?
Chemical.
What
The
does it?
water coming in off Nicole Street. Nothing was done to Nicole Street.
But the point is, there's no place for the water to drain since the drainage easement has been violated. There's no place for the water to go.
There was a ditch all along that railroad. And all the easements led to that ditch,
Yep.
and it headed east Cornwall. That ditch is filled in, it's raised up, homes, yards are all raised up, so there's no more drainage.
But what I'm saying is, nothing was done on Nicole Street to cause your.
No, there wasn't.
No, there's grading now from Nickel Street to all the way down along the railroad track.
Correct.
And it looks like they may be raising that level higher
They
too.
have raised it, I
If
can
they
see the
do,
pictures.
there will be even less chance of runoff.
So the rail trail is being raised, in your opinion?
It's a fact, yes.
I just walked it.
And I have pictures this
Yeah,
morning.
there was a grader or a bulldozer on it sometime in the last few days.
So it's being raised. The rail trail is being.
The whole area's been raised, Mayor.
It should be clear on the plans. I've seen the plans.
No, I think they were putting piping from what's the hill street. Locust all the way down. I don't know how far down.
The flood.
Yeah. Next to there.
We all have drainage easements in our
There's a
deeds.
pipe underneath
I did
the
one
rail
right
trail.
there. So far, but I'm over here, but I still have one on the side, so I can't put it.
Everyone was going
You
to.
can't do nothing, they couldn't even put trees. And he just put like 5 feet
She doesn't have
of
any.
soil.
But there is a drainage map, there's a map in town on the village, some more drainage.
It's on
That's
everyone's
mine.
deed.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is, the drainage easements have been violated. We all have a drainage easement on our deeds. They're all there. Why are they there? If it obviously was working, now it's been totally rendered, totally rendered. The terrain has been totally changed. There's no more trees to absorb the water. He's taken down so many trees. At night, it's like, it's ridiculous. They have all the lights on in the building. That's besides the point. You know, it's like he took all the trees down too. There's no way that the water can be absorbed. There's no place for the water to go since the drainage easement has been violated.
The, your water used to go just to east of that chain link fence, all the way to
It used to
Which
go
would be
down the back, down
Hollows, the
between,
old Hollow residence?
yeah, it was between us. They actually have 3 drainage easements on every side of his property, except the front. So it would go down between, I don't know, 1 nickel, is that considered 1 nickel? Karen's old property.
Yeah.
It would go down there, and then would go along the fence, and then would go behind the back of Claire's property, 107, 109, 111, and then it would go through that
Underneath
pipe.
that pipe.
Yes. And that was now, everything was filled in, and that storm drain is in front of that drainage, the existing, the old existing drainage. The pipe is still there, but it obviously is not gonna work because everything's in front of it and it's all built up in front of that. So there's no way for the water that comes on my property to be drained. And I'm getting additional water now from the other neighbors, because they're a lot higher than me.
And they're not flowing east and south, they're flowing because they've raised up.
And it's
They're
going
flowing.
towards 94. So in the wintertime, when that water, when the earth is all frozen, where's the water gonna go? It's gonna go on to 94, and it's gonna cause a hazard. It's gonna turn into ice, and it's gonna cause a hazard for all the drivers.
I don't think it would go into 94 years, a tremendous
Yes,
grade.
because now, well, excuse me, Mayor, now it was only 15 feet. And that is with the summer weather, when the water is being absorbed into the earth. It went 15 feet close to 94. 15 feet. And I want everyone to know that I'm putting you on record now that it is a concern of mine. If that water goes on Route 94, it freezes in the wintertime, there are gonna be multiple accidents. It's not just my problem that no one seems to care about. It's the village problem. Because if we have another storm, Hurricane Irene, it's not gonna be good. It was bad enough then. Now that the drainage has been interfered with, it's gonna be far worse. Within seconds, my property had 4 feet of water on it when the creek crested, within seconds. Where's that water gonna go? There's no place for that water to go.
If I may, Chris, you remember, and I hate to put you on the spot, what had to be lowered on Halleck? Was there drainage that had to be lowered on Halleck or raised on Halleck? You remember?
I wasn't involved with most of that planning with John over there. John was taking care of it.
So that's what it is. We need to find out what normal is. Approved. I've been in contact with the engineer for Oral Chemical regarding a drainage plan. That was one thing that John had suggested that one day, that the three of us met.
There's no drainage plan? There wasn't any permits?
I don't have a drainage plan.
But that's in violation of your rules.
Okay.
If
I
there
don't
wasn't
have
a
a drainage
permit.
plan. Okay. I don't have a drainage plan.
Does the village have a drainage plan?
I
A
don't believe
permit
they
that was
do.
issued for all this work that's been being done?
I don't know if a permit has been issued. Okay? The person who would have issued that permit is no longer employed by the village of Washingtonville.
So how would we find out if there was a permit issued and if there is a drainage plan.
I'm going to look to see if a permit was issued for it.
Yeah, because that's
Okay.
a little bit concerning if the village doesn't know that there was a permit in place and when there's clearly violations here, according to your own rules and zoning and bylaws and chapter 88 and 93. If you look at that, there are many violations and also a violation that I was never notified. I'm within 500 feet of the work being done. I was never notified. And I filled out incidents reports. No one has ever taken anything into consideration.
Okay.
I'm a taxpayer. I live in the village. I should have some respect, some kind of answers.
I don't know why you wouldn't have been informed back in, 13 years ago?
13 years ago,
That's when you moved here, you said, 13 years ago.
I was not informed, Mayor, when this work was being done, which started about 2 years ago, with the drainage violations. I was not notified by anyone that this work was going to be getting done. I filed incident report in March and then in September again. Have not gotten any answers at all. Have not gotten any notifications that this work was going to be getting done. And that's a violation as well.
Chemical came up in front of zoning board.
Yes.
Were you notified back then that there was a zoning board hearing regarding Chemical?
What are you referring to? There were several over the years.
Have you ever been notified?
I was notified previously, yes. This particular time I was not notified.
But you were notified at some time that Chemical was doing something on Howland Drive?
Years ago, sir.
Yeah, I was
I'm
chair of the
not-
planning board that time.
12 years
I'm
ago?
not saying that I was notified, because I was not notified with the work that's being done to the drainage
debating
easement.
that.
I'm not
I'm
going
not
to
looking
allow
for
you
an
to say
argument.
something that I don't want
I'm
to.
not looking for an argument.
I'm not going to say, you're asking me if I was notified, and I'm saying I was not notified, but now you're asking me if I was ever notified.
And you said yes.
Years ago,
That's a yes. So you were notified that something was being done there, just not the drainage. Let's separate the two, that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to get a
I'm
history
saying that I was
of
not.
who's being notified on what's going on in the village.
Years ago, I was
Okay.
notified when he was putting his building up,
Okay.
years
That's-
ago,
So that's a yes.
many years ago. That's not a yes to the drainage
No,
and
it's
the
not.
work that's being done currently.
Never said it was.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
I'd like to make a point about notification. When they did the Walden Bank, I received 2 certified letters. I never received anything from Oros. They're closer to me. So they didn't send out anything that I received, and I don't know if any other neighbor did. But the Walden Bank did send it out, certified, with information on it.
You're within 500 feet?
Yeah. It must be from Walden Bank, they sent it out.
No, I'm talking about oral chemicals.
It's closer than the bank.
It might not be that.
I don't think you're 500 feet.
150.
I didn't get notified.
Well, I got it from Walden Bank. Why did I get it from Walden Bank?
Because you might be closer to Walden Bank's
Yeah.
property line than you are.
I would say no.
I'm closer than you are. I'm not gonna argue with you, but I didn't get a letter either, and I'm closer than you are.
Oros?
Yeah.
I think you're wrong, but
I can
doesn't
see him
matter.
out of my living room window, I can see him.
Well, I can see him out my back window.
Don't you love the sunshine at night with all the lights?
It's pretty LED, it's not
It's
yellow
crazy.
or purple.
Anyway, it is what it is. My main concern is the drainage, the violation of the drainage easement.
I can state we sent all the letters out on Oral Chemicals' initial application to the planning board, because I was chair of the planning board at that time. And we sent more than just what we were required to, because the actual trailer park, there's only one person who was required to be notified, because it was the owner. The individual people in the trailers were not required to be notified since they did not own the property.
to, it's further down, 4A. Down on board. Okay,
So I guess you'll do some research.
Yeah.
With the engineer again.
What I'd like to see, on the property over there, to make sure that they had the erosion control. They had